Saggy scrotums.
I hate it here. God damn it. Hi, everybody. Hopefully you can hear us. Hi. Welcome to episode 14 of AmpistranoDND. I am your Dungeon Master, D&D Jordan Lee, and about to lead this fantastic group through another adventure today. We are down in April, but don't worry, she will be back with us on our November 12th episode, because we will be off the next 2 weeks, because we are taking a break. We also have Games for Change weekend will be happening the first weekend of November. So, yeah, we're in the home stretch for season 1. But yes, April will be back with us soon. Before we dive into our episode, though, we of course have a few announcements. So I will go ahead and do April's announcement for 1985 games. So we are really happy and affiliated with 1985 Games. They're an absolutely phenomenal company that has fantastic dice. I say as I grab from the Kickstarter a set. I think these might be my favorite. They're just so pretty. I love that kind of turquoise color. It just kind of pops out. But they have dungeon tiles. They have a number of different assets that you can use in your games, whether you're a dungeon master or a player. So go check that out now. You can enter in the code Ampistrano. Yes? I can't remember. Yes, AmpistranoDND to get a percentage off your purchase. It also helps support our show because we get a kickback for that. So go check that out. I'm going to jump over to Fair.
Hi. Do you like tea? Fuck. We are affiliates with Friday Afternoon Tea, who create a series of blends, fandom-based, synesthesia-based, all delightful, from Sailor Moon to D&D and everything in between. If you have a fandom that you like, chances are they might have it. And if you would like 10% off of your purchase, you can put in the code D&D Jordan Lee at checkout. Words. Sorry.
No,
I'm so used to coming from April to me that I got thrown off.
Yep.
If you are a fan of coffee, however, you can hit up Foul Familiar Coffee. We are also affiliates with them. And from my understanding, based on what other people have said, they have fantastic coffee blends that will help perk you up. A lot of from what I saw, D&D based ones, which are great. And if you can get 10% off your purchase with the same code D&D Jordan Lee at checkout.
Fantastic. Fair. And let's jump over to... Oh, he's already ready. Finn. Oh, no.
What's wrong? Like,
I'm always scared when you're gonna go. Not gonna lie.
Why are you scared? What have I ever done to you? He said as if he did not know.
Yep.
All I wanted to do was talk to you today about your extended warranty on your tabletop RPG products, because from what we understand, from what we understand, you guys have particularly been buying tabletop RPG items and paraphernalia not from Talon and Claw. Yes, I'm looking at you, Dave. And for whatever reason, you have bought these things that need an extended warranty. Well, maybe you wouldn't need an extended warranty on all your dice trays and all your DM screens and all your dice vaults if you had just bought them from Talon the Claw in the first place. They extend your wood for free. If you want to get the best wood that you don't have to extend for, add-ons and DLC and pay for play stuff, then I think you should go to Talon and Claw right now and type in that discount code with gusto, all caps D&D Jordan Lee, for 10% off your purchase. And you'll never have to hear me ask about extending your wood again. Sin, you're muted there.
I was saying, please note that all extended wood has a cherry finish.
and this is why I love you.
Said ticket inspiration. That was good. Yeah. Thank you so much, Finn and Sin, for saving us from that. I forgot where my announcements moved because I was moving things. Also, a quick reminder, we are affiliated with Idol Champions. So you can go ahead and use the code down below to get one Electrum chest, which, hey, you might want to use because it can give you some cool items for their newest champion, Kent from Rivals of Waterdeep. So go check that out. Go get Kent and add them to your party. I was so excited the other day. I had a whole Rivals of Waterdeep party and it just made my day. So go check that out. You can also watch Kent on Monday nights as B. Dave Walter is DMing for Anna Prosser, Brian Gray, Eugenio Vargas, Holly Conrad, and Tristan Falcone in their newest series. It is so chaotic. Believe me, you will not want to miss it. So that airs at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Another quick note. Hey, we're almost at 100 followers or subscribers. That's a thing on YouTube. So I think we're like 12 away. So take a second while you're watching, maybe open up another tab and go check out our YouTube. I would love if we could hit that number before our finale. We may do a giveaway. I don't know. Things happening. Also, go check out our Patreon. That helps our show out immensely with getting new artwork, helping to pay our cast, as well as getting guests and other things as well. We have a number of different things that we do behind the scenes that get posted on there, such as playlists, or if you just want to hear the ramblings of a DM as they're watching the party, do the many things that happen in this fantastic show. Go check it out. There's a ton of awesome things. You'll also be the first one to see updated news as well as our edited VODs. So go check that out. And I think that's it, right? That's it. Unless anybody has other stuff that they want to plug real quick. Okay. All right.
We might want to talk about Games for Change.
Well, I mean, yes.
We might want to talk about this. Jordan, who likes to be very humble about her self-promotion, won't tell you how amazing the charity event that she puts on multiple times a year is, but we will tell you how amazing Games for Change at the Haven is. And several times a year, Jordan puts this event on, and this time it's going to be the weekend of, it starts on Thursday, November 5th. Thursday's the 5th?
No, it's not. It's November
right.
3rd.
November 3rd.
6th.
Got it. I remember it was the first full weekend we get in November. I just know that Sunday I've got to do all my DM goodness.
Yes.
So it is going to be from Thursday to Sunday, November the 3rd to November the 6th for your adventure and delight.
Yes.
Sin bailing me out again.
Always. Yeah, we are doing this. This will be our last one for this year. We're raising money for Color of Change, which is an organization that seeks to fight the social injustices that are happening in this country, whether that be helping to give resources to those that are, in the court systems or are, hey, just needing some assistance to things like mental health. So it's a fantastic organization. We're like $500 away from 20K. So I would really love to hit that goal. We're going to be doing some cool interviews and stuff. But truthfully, all of this is coming together. Normally it's me running around with my head chopped off. But this time around, I've rung in Fair and April, who have been massively helping me out. And Wes is doing a number of stuff too. It's going to be a fantastic time. So that's why we'll be off for another week and coming back on the 12th. So yeah, there's a lot of things happening. But,
come for the fun shenanigans, fall in love with everyone's generosity, and then stay for watching Jordan cry, because it'll happen.
And
that always happens.
And that's Wes from Carrion Comfort Studios.
Yes.
Just so y'all know.
Thank you, Fair, for clarifying. All right. anything else before we actually get into the gameplay?
I love you.
I love you too.
Yes, I love you.
Love you. Oh, I forgot these little notes. Sorry. Make sure too, if you can, Robo is still raising money for his Radiant Citadel analogy. Robo does so much, so I believe he is still working on getting funded that 6th adventure. So please go check that out. As well as you can enter !Sephi and !Simon to help two incredible people continue their journey. We want to assist any way possible and give support, so go do that. 2 more quick things, and then I swear we're getting into this game. James Games has a Kickstarter. It's called the Session Zero. I've been really lucky to be able to mod for one of the games that he ran for Blizzbear and Ashley Robato and Cat Scratch, which was a ton of fun. But he is trying to break 100,000, and he's getting super close to that number. So go check that out. As well as, hey, Rivals of Waterdeep also has an Indiegogo live now. And we firmly stand behind, hey, you should pay your casts, and we want to see that come to fruition. So please go check that out. Go support if you can, and if you can't support financially, a simple retweet goes a long way. So go check that out. Okay, enough with announcements. Let's finally go beyond the veil of Ampistrano. And you're over here. Okay. When last we left our group of adventurers, why did this shift? Why are you doing this to me? There we go. Hang on. Overlay trouble. There we go. There we go. When last we left our group of adventurers, the festivities had continued at the Jester's Lament, as Sam, Blackstone, and Deodora all stepped into the ring. While wins and losses were felt, the discussion about magical origins and philosophies developed. Eventually, all returned home, with Sam promising to meet Blackstone at the tea leaves later in the afternoon to discuss Astera. As the new day began, Aurea heard the chiming of sleigh bells and was summoned to the courtyard, while the group ate breakfast. Blackstone eventually headed to Astera to discuss the warning they had received and inquire about Pithyweather and Grenowitch's interesting past. And that is where we pick up for today. Blackstone, you step out into the muddy dirt road outside of Astera. The sky is overcast and there is a definite chill in the air. Autumn is definitely here. Rain falls softly around you as you continue, I'm assuming, back towards Illipin, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Still, you see many are in celebration mode, as this is the second to last day of the festival that's in full swing. Though many are now ducking between the caravans and tents to try and escape some of the rain. Right now, it's still about mid-morning, so about 10 or 11, as you're kind of wandering slowly down the dirt road back towards the to the tavern. No one inquires. You're kind of just left to your own devices. What are some thoughts that Blackstone is having after having this meeting with Deidre?
Their main thoughts and feelings are about how, just kind of the process of the questions that they were asked, most of which were, are you scared? Are you running? Are you hiding? And thinking, I don't think I have to. Well, not right now anyway. And that feeling is nice. There's also kind of a programming conflict. Built for receiving things and being stealthy and stuff, and trying to figure out how to balance that with the parts of him that are built for doing that versus being kind of out and outspoken and little bit more forward with himself, trying to figure out how to like blend all of the things that he's learned about the many ways that people are.
Mm-hmm. And those thoughts carry you onward back towards the river's end. Where would we find Deodora and Cal at this time? Still at the breakfast table eating?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Getting them huevos rancheros like we talked about.
Oh, hell yes. And just like all of the water that Cal could possibly drink, because I feel like he's still getting the stink eye from Deodora over
Sure.
the table every time he tries to reach for coffee.
100%. 100%. Hydrate yourself first.
And Blackstone, as you're making your way back, before you actually enter into the confines of the tavern itself, you see out in the courtyard to the right as you're about to approach the door, you see that the tree is still starting to have a lot of the changing color from the greens to the reds to the oranges. You also see that there's this bird bath that you all had been around the day before. And there's a figure standing there. It's Oria. And you see she's just kind of staring down into the bird bath as the rain's falling. And it looks almost like this small canopy is above her of spiderweb and mist that's lightly keeping her covered from the rain as she's just kind of staring into the pond. You can tell even from this distance that even though she is there, she's not there mentally. Like she's doing something else, but she's in very deep thought as you all are kind of making decisions about what your day is going to be. But you head into the river's inn and you see your friends sitting at the table.
I go and take a seat and go, good morning.
Hey.
Morning, Blackstone. How are you now?
I'm not sure what the word is. It's kind of like being okay, but a little bit more than that. Not quite happy either. I'll figure out a word for it later.
Content?
That is a good word, yes. We'll take that one.
Right, so the
That's
meeting
good.
went well with the professor, I assume, then.
Some of which you're responsible for.
Oh, that's almost never a good thing to hear lately.
Well, the professor asked me if I was concerned about some things, and I feel like, given the experiences of the last few days, I am significantly less so than I would be if I were by myself. This pleases me.
Oh, that is good then. And as they're talking, I'm guessing if Blackstone just came in the door, we're both looking at him, and over his shoulder, we could probably see out the door to the strangely catatonic Oria.
No, where you all are sitting, you're kind of closer to the hearth. The door is to the left, and then around the back is the...
Like on the side, like
Yeah,
on the
Okay,
side of the
out of
house.
so the only one of us that would have seen Oria in a trance would have been Blackstone then.
Yes.
Okay.
That reminds me, because the two of you are here, what is Oria doing by the bird bath outside? She looked like she was in deep concentration about something or other, and I didn't want to disturb her, but I am curious.
Oh, yeah. This happens sometimes where she'll get a call from, the Fae Council, I guess that's what it is. The people who kind of run the school that she comes from, and she has to give a check-in with them to explain herself, I guess.
Is
You know,
this
she's-
home? Is this home for her?
Illipin?
No, the place that that called her.
Oh, yes. Or it's where she studies, at least. and she's on like a bit of a sabbatical right now, so she has to do like a check-in, and again, it's a lot of her just getting yelled at, I think.
Oh, well, I suppose that works, but it seems like an odd way to go about it. Why wouldn't he just send her a sending stone?
I think I don't really know. I guess they just like to have a face-to-face, in a way, conversation.
Lots
They
of
have their
different
own
groups have their own
ways.
magical channels to communicate through.
Yeah. This
You know,
kind of
there's
seems
just-
more reliable. You just ring a bell and she hears it, and then she just has to find a pool of water.
And
Or
from
some
what I
kind of
understand,
reflective surface.
if I'm not mistaken, the Fae are not quite. It seems difficult to call them native to this realm. They're more like
They're-
emissaries. Sometimes
they're-
it would seem.
They're
And
not
so-
they're not of this world. So I don't know if sending stones work across planes.
They do.
I don't think so. Oh, they do?
Oh yeah, they do. I mean, sometimes you might get shoddy reception, but they tend to work semi-reliably. The thing is, I'm just sure that if this is home number 2 for the majority of the Fae and not the homeland, they might just like the old ways of communicating.
Well, that is true. Different organic types of creatures do have their customs. Oh well, at the very least, she's in a spot that seems to be at least somewhat out of the way, that it wouldn't get a lot of traffic from people. And that's important because, well, she does not look like she would be in a state to respond if something were to happen, and that is concerning.
Oh, I think
Yeah,
like
that is right.
I'd actually be more worried about anything that snuck up on Aurea rather than Aurea getting snuck up on. I feel like there seems to be a lot of unintentional reactionary violence that would be a result in that situation, and so I'd be more afraid that some random innocent passerby would accidentally surprise her.
I'll be honest with you, the first time I saw this happen, I was concerned and I did approach, and I'm lucky I just came out with a black eye. And that's when she turned into a potted plant, actually. She popped in and out and she was a plant.
So you had to go around telling the story that a plant beat you up and then you had to take care of it.
It's not a story
I-
that she tells if she doesn't
Yeah,
tell it.
no, I didn't.
That's
I
true.
didn't tell that story.
That's fair.
But
Well,
also,
you know-
I mean, here's the thing: if somebody were to make fun of me for getting beat up by a plant, I could then just fight them.
Oh, that's very true. I, wouldn't be queuing up in that line. So, but in any case, I suppose, if your talk with the professor went well enough, and
There would need to be a
Aurea's-
part. There would need to be a secondary part to that. Yes, it occurred to me that you had the ability to translate the message in that memory, and that the professor could probably benefit from it. Unfortunately, for the people, culture, civilization, I'm not sure which that was referenced in that memory. There is I'm not sure if surprising is the word, but there is a very scant amount of information. It is a book of approximately this size.
Oh, okay. Well, then it might take me a wee bit of time to translate, but I could get at least the literal meaning of it, and any figurative language from there. Maybe the professor could help us decipher. But of course, I'd be happy to be of service. So it seems that we need to return to Astera. However, if you
Also, if you don't mind, I need to use my inside voice for something. And to make sure to wait until Deodora makes eye contact with me, because Blackstone is learning the
Like-
importance of trying to use like the slightest bit of, like trying to like work around consent with telepathic communication.
I
with
I
people.
think it's one of those things where like you and Cal were talking and you started talking about books, so I just zoned out a little bit and was like, let me just get back to my breakfast. And then it's like it's like that like slight awkward second where like I realize that people are staring at me. I'm like, oh, huh?
Right. After a discussion with the professor, I've decided that it would probably be best for us to have a direct discussion with Grenowitch.
You know, I was...
Based on the information that the professor has provided to me, it seems that Grenowitch may not be the person that we were concerned she might be. And at that point, I replayed like the snippet of conversation where the professor explains that her, Pithyweather, and Grenowitch were all kind of contemporaries to each other in terms of their education. And kind of like there's this like small cinematic where you see like them like people fading in and out of scenes, and then you see like an aside with Grenowitch and Pithyweather kind of being competitive rivals, but then Pithyweather getting more distant and getting more involved in politics. And there is the feeling of tension between everyone.
Cal will respond like back in the telepathic communication. I was thinking the same thing, however. If and you'd both be cordial to the idea, I'd like to walk in there and discuss our dealings with Grenowitch myself, originally. Of course, with the two of you behind me in support, if you could, but from what I've learned from Diodora, from Aurea, and from Blackstone yourself as well, I believe going in there afraid would not be the correct move, and going in there combatively would probably be a disastrous event as well. I'd like to show her some respect, but also some confidence, and see if she has the chance to respond in kind. Of course, if she does fail in that, and he looks pointedly over at Diodora, if she does fail in that, then of course we have to respond in the way that's best for us.
Well, Cal, if I might make a suggestion here, my intention is not to go there to be combative, but... And this other image appears with like this shadowy hooded figure, because I do not know what Grenowitch looks like. Kind of, I intend to go to Grenowitch and be truthful about what we know, and hope that she responds in kind. It has been more dangerous and often more unhelpful than not for us to not be straightforward about things. And per the professor's recommendation, being straightforward is best in this situation. So, that is what I would like to attempt. If you would like to discuss the nature of your deal in the meantime, by all means. But I think what we might be dealing with may be a bit larger than the cost of a pearl.
It seems that we are on the same page there. I thought out of a matter of respect, it would be bad form to owe a debt and have the debtor have to be the one to bring it up. best to lead in the door knowing that I owe her something, and take the discussion from there.
Then you hear me say out loud at the table, then I look forward to seeing this display of courage from you.
I'll speak frankly. The only reason why I was against Grenowitch is because I did not like the way that she did business with you. However, I think of the two, Payweather is the more concerning. I don't like that she pries into people's minds. It feels off to me. I don't know. I don't know the politics of this place. But it seems that somebody who is going through people's minds searching for something is perhaps paranoid that they might be caught doing something.
And that's an excellent chapter for your next story. And then in telepathy, Theodora, I don't mean to be rude, but inside voices on powerful individuals in this town.
Oh, I'm sorry.
When
I
we're in
was
public.
using my inside voice.
Oh, good. Oh, good. I think I was assuming from experience that Theodora never uses the inside voice. Okay,
No,
good. We're good.
Theodora has learned, at least in this setting, that it's best to keep things hush because, Brooke is running around and we definitely had an awkward conversation in front of her. And normally Theodora just I think when it's in a moment, like when she's fighting or something, or focus on something else, she will respond out loud because it's just that's just simple for her. She's not thinking about it. Whereas we're just sitting down having a conversation.
Right.
She could just okay, I think it her talking out loud is kind of just her instinctive reaction because that's how she communicates.
Right.
Yeah.
No, telepathy takes some getting used to, and awesome. I thought that was
So now,
Sure.
here's what we have as canon. Me saying I look forward to seeing you be brave out loud, and you also responding. That sounds like a wonderful chapter for your chapter for your book when you write it next.
It happened. It's canon.
And
we'll chalk it up to.
I can't write. What are you talking about?
We'll chalk it up to Cal's deflection.
I don't. We've talked about this. I don't know how to read.
And that's why illustrated collaboration would be amazing. I feel like all of Illipent would be the talk of the town.
I can draw. I'm great at doing maps.
Oh, right. The two of... You know what? That would be an amazing adventure in and of itself. Seeing if we could both tell the same story, myself with words and you with pictures, so that both sides could follow the tale.
I like that. The first time Theodora's interested in a book.
Clip this moment and immortalize it forever. Ori is not going to believe us otherwise. But there's also there's a subtle feeling of sadness in this connection of telepathy, because Blackstone is also thinking about how for the professor, these aren't just people with powers and jobs and professions and influence and all this other stuff. These two are also her friends, one of which she is very concerned about losing.
Oh, is that right?
I don't say all of those things. You just get there is a sad feeling.
Okay,
and I suppose, something, just because, why not? There is also an image of the professor saying something to Blackstone. You can't make out the words, but the professor looks very, looks sad. It might be the most, I suppose, worn would be the best word that you would have ever seen her as far as body language goes.
Okay. Well then.
What is she
Seems like our
concerned
days-
about?
I would assume with so much trepidation in her relationship with her old friends, she might be afraid that one of her friends isn't friend, or Maybe headed for trouble.
I've only
I
recently learned to appreciate the bonds that you all have to each other and the way that friendship develops. And I suppose that if I were concerned that I might lose those one day, I would be sad too.
yeah, but unfortunately, part of life is also losing bonds and breaking bonds and outgrowing other people. And I think it it's not a great feeling and it does hurt, but it is a part of life. And I think ultimately it may hurt the professor, but her friends have also made their own choices in life.
Cal kind of leans on one hand on the table for a second and not to Blackstone this time, but telepathy just privately to Diodora. I do pity the poor soul who hurt you.
Theodora just like looks quizzically a bit, but at the same time, like, I mean, I think not that she would express this, but you probably just get the sense of like, yeah, I mean, she's had friendships and relationships that have like, she was close to a person and it like fizzled out for one reason or another, and it wasn't necessarily like
Right.
a bad thing, but it does hurt when that happens because it's like, a chapter in your life closes and maybe you weren't ready for that chapter to end. But I think it's like one of those things where it's like, I think because of like how she grew up in the lifestyle of like her clan, like that's just a literal part of life. Like you meet people and then you end up literally moving apart from them.
Right.
And then maybe you see them again and maybe you don't.
Well, then Cal gives this kind of knowing nod, and well, then out loud this time.
Court, please.
What? What did I do?
You brought an excessive level of feels, I believe.
No.
Oh, no.
Like,
No, he
it's
caught
me.
the chat. He caught the chat.
Just chill. It's okay.
Mm-mm. All right. Well, Cal sits up.
Wow. That
Rattly
like
math
Morocco.
rocks.
You know what?
The math
It's
Morocco
me.
is
I'm
coming
sorry.
out.
I
I
was
just got
asking
this
Blackstone
over
to do
here.
something while this is happening. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay,
All right, well,
yeah. Illegal.
Cal will sit up and out loud go, well, it seems our day has risen to meet us, so looks like our path takes us to the market and then out of town again. So if there's no other objections, and then I'd say pitter-patter and let's get at her.
It's
Are
a
you
nat
gonna
20.
finish? Are you gonna finish that? I point to Cal's plate. You gonna finish that?
There's like just scraps left, but oh no,
We don't
you're welcome
waste
to it.
food. We don't waste food.
Oh, of course, by all means.
So
In the interest of brevity, go ahead.
yeah, I like finish up.
So then, market and then out of town. Is that where our day is laid out for us?
I think market, and then wherever it takes us next, because depending on what we learn, we might have to make a detour.
I mean, the professor. If we need to meet back up with Blackstone's professor, that would be just slightly out of town, is what I mean. I didn't mean to just disembark on.
No, I know what you meant. I just mean that we might need to go further in town.
Oh, sure, certainly.
Depending on what we learn.
Of course, good to be flexible. Speaking of flexible, should we just leave Arya standing there then, or should we risk bruises?
It's gonna be a while, and if we interrupt her while she's in this meeting, they'll just be even more annoyed, or however they're feeling today.
Oh, that's
she'll be
all right.
She'll be fine. She's safe.
All right, if you say so, then I'll trust you then. In that case, then suppose we have a certain talk with a certain centaur. And then Cal will stand up, gather his things, and drop a wave to Brooke as we head out the door.
All right. Sin, you were muted.
No, that was me thinking out loud, so it's fine.
Okay. Oh, you're good.
I was going to say, let me look at everyone's character sheet because y'all have some.
Not
extras.
you peeking at our sheets.
I think I made
Okay.
Sin nervous.
I peek at
both
everyone.
of-
I peek at
Actually-
everyone's sheets all the time.
Oh,
Actually,
goodness.
Actually, both of y'all would probably notice this. Normally through my mask, you see a pair of blue glowing eyes. These are purple. And you know that purple normally means psychic shenanigans are happening.
Mm-hmm.
Or magic shenanigans are happening. Cal would definitely know that. Theodora might have observed this a time or two. And, considering that for the most part, you two were talking to each other and not me, my eyes are still purple.
So, as Cal's, waving to Brooke and heading toward the door, but he turns back and sees that Blackstone hasn't risen from his chair.
Mm-hmm. And to give everyone else context, we'll peel back. I imagine at this moment the camera kind of zooms in on Blackstone's kind of face, almost going into that deep purple. Blackstone, you've been sitting in on this conversation, kind of enjoying just the honesty that's coming from it, as you're learning a lot too. But you are one that always has your barriers up. And you feel it's a faint magical signature is trying to breach the barrier. But you're able to kind of just shuffle it off. The signature itself seems familiar, though it's not one that has done what you and Cal do and having that kind of telepathy moment. At least not from their side of things. So it's not...
Does it feel like a certain moment at a certain tea shop?
Yes. Yes. But perhaps not the one that you're thinking of. Not
Cal...
of the one of warning.
Cal clocks Blackstone being kind of out of the moment, and he scans the room to see if anyone is similarly staring off into space and possibly making a telepathic connection in the tavern.
Based upon, you're welcome to make a perception roll if you want.
I will.
Go for it.
Hey,
So-
18 on that die.
Okay.
And that gives me, I think my perception's straight. Yeah, my perception's a straight roll, so 18.
You don't see anyone else that's staring off into space in terms of concentrating on a magical spell. You see several that are just staring off because it's that time of day where food people are processing food and maybe what's happening outside and thinking about what their day is. But
Day after festival grogginess.
Yeah, you're not. I'm going to add into that perception check just because of your innate ability with the arcane. You're not picking up any magical signatures. That would be, of someone honing in on a spell in that instance. Nobody in here is doing anything like that.
Right.
Sin, what were you saying?
I was going to say, I'm going to slowly make my way out toward the group. And when I get to Cal, I'm going to say in as low a voice as possible, I don't know if you can still do the thing where you can follow trails of magic to see where they go. This might be a good time to do that.
well, of course, I certainly could. Cal just kind of looks around and sits down on a. Are there like any seating right outside the tavern?
Mm-hmm. There's a couple
All right,
benches, and then there's some benches right within the little courtyard right by the tavern as well.
Well, he kind of tries to nonchalantly make it look like he wasn't about to walk down the street, and
Sure.
instead he was aiming for a bench to sit and read a book.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
he pulls out his spell book and tries to kind of like discreetly pretend like he's just talking to himself instead of talking to his book.
Okay.
But he pulls out his book and, hey there, Drix, could I have a word with you for a moment? And boom, Drix pops up, just like standing on the pages. Cal, how are you now? I just needed a little help. Yeah, but how are you now? I'm good, and you? Oh, not so bad. Well, that's fair enough. Good stuff. So, what is it that you need, friend? Well, you see there, Drix. Seems that Rory is a little bit concerned about the nature of our environment and thinks there might be some arcane shenanigans going about. So I wondered if you could detect magic for me, just a little bit. And he says, "Oh, certainly, Rory. You need a trail, do you? Okay, then let's see. Who's got magic going in them today?" And he just like reaches his hands up, and the shower sprays out. Yes, that was a thing that Drix just said. And guys, I have to I can't. There's so much that Finn wants to say when we play that Cal just can't say. There's so much that Finn would like to say that Cal would never say, so Drix has to say it.
Sure.
And then you see for a moment, you see all those kind of magic weave green tendrils just kind of flare out from the hand of Drix, and they disappear for everyone else but Cal, and Cal is seeing those shapes in the rain again.
Okay. The world around you starts to take almost like a sepia tone as you are picking up What's interesting about this is the last time you used this spell, it was a very clear trail. Fresh. This one, it's like, think of like those coloring pages with connect the dots, but the dots haven't been connected just yet. It's a staccato of light purple, not necessarily leading a direct trail back to where this magic originated from. It's away from here. You can tell it's heading north, but as you're honing in, those sparks of magic are already starting to completely fade away. To give you all a perspective, it's from the side of the city that has the Jester's Lament, has Lyros, has several of those places that you've been over the last couple of days. The exact pinpoint of that magic, though, is lost on you because the ones that are trailing closest to you are still burning brightly, although already starting to fade. The ones further away have already kind of blipped out.
So, gathering that the source is probably still nearby us.
Relatively.
Okay. Well, from what I'm seeing, there's a bit of activity coming in from the north, and can't tell much more than that, but if I was willing to wager,
in the direction of Lyros.
I was willing to wager, I'd say someone's trying very hard not to leave a trail with their magic. I'm picking up bits and pieces of presence, but if I suppose in as way of analogy, there's a trail of breadcrumbs, but somebody scattered the crumbs quite a bit.
What ingredients would you say that said breadcrumbs are made from?
What kind of school of magic am I picking up on that then?
That would be, sorry.
I keep a handy list if you want me to run down the list for you.
It's an evocation.
There we go.
Sorry, I was like, wait, what's? Oh, it's evocation.
I know. Remembering all the schools is
I was like
a chore.
Oh no. Evocation.
Right. All right. Well, someone's directing power about. It would look like it doesn't seem to be that they're spying. Doesn't seem divination in nature, but someone seems to be directing power from place to place.
Seems to me that we know of one person who likes to pry.
Evocation.
Oh, aye, the drawing and redirecting of energy from place to place. That would be what it feels like.
Like the crystal.
It sounds very much like someone intended to do me harm just now. Well, okay. I will consider that later. We have other things to do.
All right.
First of which is, we need to go and make our way to a tea shop.
Pick it away.
I will say, make a note. It's still relatively early in the afternoon. You know, you're not meeting Sam until about 4. It's about noon. So you still have a few hours.
Well, if that's the case, then I'm going to say let's go to Astera.
I thought we wanted to see Grenowitch first in case there's more information we could gather to tell your professor.
That's fair. Who would be the first? I guess who would be closest?
It would be Grenowitch for sure. Her shop's in town.
Okay. Well, I suppose we have a thing to do. But
all right,
Theodora, it looks like you had something on your mind.
Do we not want to follow the breadcrumbs as much as we can?
I wouldn't be confident enough to lead you in a particular direction with the way these crumbs are arrayed. I'm sorry to say, they do vaguely come from the north, but I feel like we'd come up with a cold trail before we'd come across anything important. However, this particular spell.
The other concern that we have is that spell does come from the north, and if I'm not mistaken, that's where places like Lyros are. Now, we just had a whole encounter that wound up with us banished from the school there and that library. And that probably means if anything is there, will be enemies lying in wait. And at this moment, I would rather not.
And I would say if we are going to come up with further conflict with Lyros, we might know more about Lyros's puppet master first. So still leaves Grenowitch a good choice. And this particular spell I can keep running for a bit. So if we start making our way down the street and more magic seems to pop up as we go. Bless me. Big, like, that was like a sonic boom with the fact that
oh my god, the breath weapon.
The fact that the breath weapon is a thunder. The fact that the breath weapon's a sonic or a thunder.
If there
wave.
weren't people awake before, there are definitely people who are awake now.
You're just gonna Skyrim them.
That Achu was just actually like a dubstep, just a but like not a full scale breath weapon, but just like a tiny bass reverb that happened. And then
I think you misunderstand me, Cal.
Right?
I fully meant after we speak to Grenowitch.
Oh, of course, of course.
Maybe my instincts are wrong on this. There's only one person that I know of so far who has been prying into people's minds, acting a little shady. Not that I know them, but somebody who sets a security system up that only they can stop seems to be the type who would flex their powers in other places as well.
A prime suspect, to be sure. Well,
But
then,
I will follow your leads on this one.
I suppose then eyes open, feet steady, and on to Grenowitch we go.
Okay.
And as we do go, I do hold concentration on that spell as long as it lasts,
Mhm.
just in case anything else gets picked up as we move.
Sure. You can easily do that. The rain has picked up a bit. Before it was just kind of falling in sheets, and now it's full on. It's basically a downpour as you all are walking back towards the center of town. It doesn't take you long. You see the familiar tree that has 2 stories. It literally sits out in the middle of all these bricked and cobblestoned and stoned kind of houses that are lining the streets of Illipin. You see the familiar bright red door as well as the window nearby, which you know she sometimes greets customers at that don't have the time to come fully in. But you head right towards Grenowitch's Givings. And I think that's a really good place to stop for right now while we take a quick break, so I can get some things in order.
Sure.
So we will take a 10-minute break. It's 4 o'clock on the dot right now. I know we're taking break a little bit early, but today is going to be a pretty big session, I think. So, yeah, just stay tuned, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes.
Go get some snacks.
Go get snacks!
Snacks, yay!
Do
See
the
you
human
soon.
things.
Easy to.
I'm bored.
We can go scream at the cat for another hour.
Nah, I'm tired of screaming at the cat.
Shut up with that! Be bored no more with 1985 games. Enjoy their vast variety of products and help bring your tabletop to a whole new level. With easy-to-use dungeon sticky notes. The deck of stories holds prompts and adventure hooks for any setting, and thousands of cutout game pieces with their dungeon craft.
You've come all this way for nothing, fool! The princess is mine! You'll never get away with this, Malachor!
Write everything down in your Hero Notes journal and start your adventure today! Visit the World Wide Web address 1985games.com and find many helpful products such as their Dungeon Craft series, battle maps, deck of stories, miniatures, dungeon notes, and now VHS dice. Again, that's 1985games.com.
And welcome back, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're going to dive right on into it with this episode. So the group has found themselves just outside of Grenowitch's Givings on a very rainy afternoon in Illipin. So I'll turn it over to the group. What are you all doing? Are you knocking on the door? Are you just going right in? What's the mood? What's the vibe?
Sorry, the thing that Sin shared with us right before the break ended just hit me and I'm pissed. Anyways, Cal's gonna knock up the door there and just, rap on the door. Grenowitch, if in your, because I'm guessing like her store door is shuttered at the moment, being early in the morning.
Well, it's mid-afternoon, so people have been walking around. Like the shop is open. It's just the door and the windows are shut because it's raining. But
Right.
it's for all intents and purposes, it is open. It's just things are shut at this
All
time.
right. Well, then he'll call out the Grenowitch. It's Caldrix Derak, coming on business.
Okay.
That's what he'll call out. Like,
Sure. It takes a couple moments, and you do hear movement on the opposite side of the red door. And eventually it does, after a minute or two, open. You see the familiar white-haired centaur, having many wrinkles on her face, a curly mop of hair on her head. You see on her right side there's one horn that loops around to the side. She, in contrast to when you stopped by a couple days ago, Cal, she is kind of hunched over slightly today. And she kind of just opens the door partially as you are knocking. Let's see. Who is it?
Sorry, ma'am. Caldrix Derak, I hope we haven't caught you at a bad time. But you
Pearl.
see, there's been a slight development, I should say, in our business arrangement.
Well, come in, we can talk about it. You're in the rain. And she will step aside, opening up the door for you to enter.
I don't know if you've met my traveling companions here, but this would be good Blackstone, and this would be good Diodora.
It's a pleasure to finally meet you both. I've seen you wandering around the city, just because I'm in the town square, so I see you all moving about, but yes. Finn, what?
I forgot to ask before we started this conversation at the door. The 10 minutes of Detect Magic has gone up by now, I'm positive, but did anything change about what Cal saw as we moved?
Nope, you just saw the
Okay.
sputtering of magic.
Nothing new popping up,
No.
nothing following us.
Kind of
Okay,
like fireflies in the sky just slowly dimming out
got it. All
until
right,
there's
cool.
nothing left.
Fair game, play ball.
I will say you don't get the sense that the magic came from this direction, like here, but that's
Definitely
about
from
it.
the north of town, sure.
But she ushers you all into this very messy shop that has a bunch of baubles and odds and ends. Blackstone, you would pick up that this is a shop usually for whether it be a wizard or a druid or a cleric using getting things for spell components or for potions or things like that. Diodora, you do see that there's like a couple of health potions and stuff like that that are kind of lining the wall. But there's things hanging from the ceiling. There's roots of ginger. There's a number of just kind of odds and ends pulling from all over Ampistrano. You see some traditions that are marked, whether it be a circle of sticks that have been kind of tied together, which you know is kind of a welcome in the north, to some of the grasses and sands that are marked from the south. So there's a lot of different things here as she's ushering all of you through the main frame of the store to this back office room. It seems like it's a lot bigger in here than the tree looks outside. But you all are able to follow her carefully back to her office, where you see she's hunched over a bit. She's moving a lot slower than she was a couple of days ago, Cal. You also notice she's kind of favoring on her right hand. There's some kind of wrappings around her hand, and she's just kind of keeping it close, but you see like she's slightly leaning on like tables and stuff as you all are walking and following her back.
Well, I didn't mean to find you in a poor state of health, ma'am.
It's been a rough couple of days.
Oh, hectic business with the festival and whatnot.
You could definitely say that. Well, make yourselves comfortable, and she kind of gestures around the room, keeping her movement small. It's kind of one of those instances of like, if you've ever had a really bad sunburn, trying to not move too much, just keeping things close. But she quickly...
mending doesn't work on organic creatures, correct?
And Cal responds, "Oh no, sorry about that. That would be only for inorganics or construction."
Can I do a medicine check?
Sure. What are you, I guess, medicine checking, and how are you going about doing it?
I guess, like, just with the way she's moving and how she's favoring, like, her one side and, like, the hand wrapping and stuff, I just want to, like, maybe see, like, if this, like, is caused from, like, an attack or, like, a burn or something, and, like,
Sure.
like, exactly what, like, how she was harmed, if that makes sense.
Yes.
You know, like, so, medicine, I got a 17.
17. Definitely seems like it's a burn of some kind. She's really favoring her right side, not only just her hand, but just that whole body. Think about when you're sick, it's just kind of wrapped up a lot more than usual. She's kind of just encroaching in onto herself as that's happening. You can tell the source of the pain is coming from her hand. It's heavily wrapped, so it's a little bit harder to see like what exactly the attack of it was, but it seems like it's coming from her hand, which she of course is keeping kind of closed. But even though, I mean, you've seen in the field, you can have a small injury that can just kind of fester and make worse if it's not properly treated in time. So it's harder to say, and no, Finn, she is not. That would be that. I'm not even going to make you roll for that. I'm going with your innate ability just because you have a number of experiences in the field. That would be what you kind of get from that. She's not really impacted on her left side as much, but whatever it is, it's crippling her immensely. You can tell that in terms of the time frame, some of it seems like it's been a couple of days. Some of it also seems like it's been a couple of minutes.
Well, like, it's like a sustained attack on her?
Mm-hmm. That's what you would pick up.
I think as we're moving, through and I'm looking at this, I'll, like, look to both Blackstone and Cal, like, and sort of, like, just kind of tap on my head to see, like, I need to talk to you, but I don't want to say it out loud.
Yes, Theodora.
The injury that she has, it seems like it's still actively affecting her. Like something, like it's a sustained attack. I don't know if it might be some kind of magic or something.
Cal shifts his eyes to the injury. Can I do an Arcana check to see if this is any kind of magical attack or thing that I've learned about before? Could this look like a curse or some kind of hex?
Sure, Go ahead.
So, man, this die is being nice to me so far. Good thing I've got that +6 as well. That's 23, all things considered, on an Arcana check.
Okay. And what exactly are you searching for?
Does this look like the effects of any kind of curse or hex or
Yes.
offensive spell that he's come across before?
Yes.
Confirmation she is under the effects of somebody's curse or hex or something of that nature. Got it.
Yep.
And then Cal will respond telepathically. Oh, somebody's cursing her for sure. Some caster is keeping her hurt, it would appear.
Or she touched something that was cursed.
Either or. But whatever it is sustaining the attack. She is not shaking it.
It's killing her, I think.
Cal will then say out loud to Grenowitch, if it's all the same to you, Mom, I'd prefer to stand just in case I need to make an explanation for myself. However,
Or quick escape. And she kind of gives you a knowing look and looks between the three of you. I understand.
no sense beating around the bush then.
I take a moment to actually find a place in the room at that moment to go and sit.
Yeah, you can see there's a number of couches and chairs. It's a larger kind of office space. It's about the size of the suite back at the tavern you're in.
I picked the spot closest to her.
Okay. Yep. There's a desk between the two of you, but yes, you can easily sit pretty close. And she doesn't seem alarmed. She's giving all of you a very knowing look, because you can sense that she has picked up that you all are communicating non-verbally.
In our efforts to complete the errand you sent me on to pay the debt of the Pearl, we ran afoul of the headmaster in our reconnaissance efforts. Set off some of her wards among some of the things in the library that we weren't aware of, and it seems to be that we are firmly on her list of adversaries. So you see, we underestimated the task before us, and that's definitely why it's yet to be completed. But if you don't mind me saying so, perhaps you've run afoul of someone here lately.
And she kind of looks between the three of you. Word has definitely reached my ears of the incident at Lyros on the last day or so. And you see she starts to say something, and then just a flicker of pain crosses her face.
Cal will reach out telepathically. Are you being prevented from saying out loud?
And she just locks eyes with you. She doesn't answer.
Are you being prevented from saying by any means?
And she just stares. Never breaks contact. There's not a flicker of doubt. You see a little bit of pain shoots across her face, but her eyes never leave. And then eventually she drops her gaze. Just looking slightly tired.
Adam Grenowitch. He's saying out loud now.
Yeah.
If there's somewhere we need to go. Sorry, Never mind that. Why me? Why send me after your lions? You certainly have people in town that are willing to do favors for you, but why call in a debt from a newcomer?
And she leans forward. Her other hand kind of jumping between grabbing her right and then just kind of gripping the wood on her desk. Because you already know. Use that head of yours.
Because you can't. Because you couldn't risk Professor seeing you coming.
Think harder.
Because you.
And she kind of grimaces, and you see at this point, underneath the shawl she's wearing, kind of encroaching upon her pale skin, this black vine of a symbol kind of starts to stretch up the side of her neck, glowing hot.
Is that the same kind of shit we saw in Aurea earlier when Aurea was affected?
Yes.
Because you don't have much.
We have.
Ooh, actually, hold on.
So it's like, I got it.
hold on real quick, mute. What? We should get her to Astera. How come you haven't gone to Astera?
Deidre can't help me with this.
She helped our friend with the same affliction.
And you
I'm
see she
afraid that-
keeps opening her mouth to say something else, but just a grimace of pain crosses her. Yes,
I'm
you would.
afraid that-
You would know, Sin.
Cal looks at Deodora and says out loud, I'm afraid our friend... Sin, are you trying to speak?
Sin was muted, yeah.
You're very muted.
I was just like, I think I am aware of the unfortunate cold, if you will, that Lady Grenowitch has caught here. It is not similar in kind to what our friend Aurea had.
Not similar.
No.
It's similar in some respects, but different. Sin.
And
to
I just
clarify.
kind of give her a look of, I kind of like, it's a synthesizing of like the last couple of moments of talking and then figuring out what is happening. Well, Grenowitch, I came here to speak to you honestly, and in turn, hoped to receive honesty from you. Now, I am aware that you might not be able to return what I am giving you in the way that I wish to, how I wish you to. However, and I remove my mask for a moment, and I go, I was also made to, let's say, obey certain instructions. And I know that I would have a very significantly difficult time if I did not do them. And from what I hear, there are situations that other people get into where they are forced to do things even if they don't want to. And then I just read her body language. I don't ask her for an answer.
You see her right hand is shaking slightly. As that happens, some of the bandages move away, and you see that the skin on her hand has grayed and dulled. And she just kind of locks eyes with you.
Cal,
I should at some point, should talk to my friends about the very unique experience of that happening. And I am going to try to talk to Grenowitch out loud about seemingly mundane things.
Sure.
While also communicating telepathically with Theodore and Cal. Grenowitch, I, like you, I'm a person who just goes different places and sometimes comes across very interesting information. And it seems that I had a very incorrect impression of you and your person. And I suppose for that, although you haven't been subjected to my opinions about it so far, would like to apologize in advance. It turns out that you are a very influential person of note in this town and have been helpful to several people. And you have also lived a somewhat full life with a few friends, some of which whom some might say you have or had a friendly rivalry with, sometimes to the point of playing various games for which you traded different prizes. And I know that I would be hard pressed to let things stand where people didn't necessarily, do their part in playing by the rules of said game.
She locks eyes with you, Blackstone, and you see, truthfully, so much expressed in her eyes. There's a sorrow. There's overwhelming pain. As well as you're able to pick up this emotion of wanting desperately to say something, anything, but not being able to. And for a moment, you feel her reaching out to you telepathically for a hot second.
I look at her when I feel the contact coming in, and I just give her a gentle shake of the head, not to do it. Because I know what might happen if I do. And I then tell her, I personally am not here because I would like to discuss the deliverable, as it were, that our friend Cal was to bring to you. I am here because in my capacity as a community wizard from the town that I came from Jorings, it is something that very much is in line with me to try to find ways to mend things and fix problems. So, I have a handy mending spell. I know a little bit of mage hand for cleaning things up. I don't mind traveling distances. Grenowitch, would you like some help?
Cal looks at Theodora to try to
slowly
clarify.
reaching for her
Yeah.
sword to chop off his hand.
Cal looks at Theodora, and as a way to explain to the non-magic user in the room, it would appear that the magic affecting Grenowitch right now is not simply harmful, but also restrictive. she seems to be bound in such a way, and then he reaches into his pocket and pulls out that pearl that he got from Grenowitch and says, however, and he holds it up, looks at Grenowitch, are you at least able to consent to allowing me to, and he reaches out his hand like as a gesture toward the non-afflicted side of her.
Yeah.
Are you at least able to offer consent, should you give it, for me to look into the matter?
You mean, of course, the matter of helping Grenowitch reorganize and maintain her shop and make sure that everything related to the shop is in order. And those words, when I say them to Cal, have a bit of an edge to them.
Oh, of course. Yeah. So, help and arrange things around the place. Just help with good housekeeping. Do you consent to our help then, Grenowitch?
She has gritted teeth. That would be very appreciated.
And
I think Theodora goes and locks the front door, just in case. She gets it. She understands what's happening. But it's also like wanting to, in case, like, understanding that this is magic, but also, like, in case the shop is also being watched physically. This way it'll at least slow people down and maybe bottleneck them from getting in if there's something that could happen.
Sure.
Cal, like, starts looking around the room, but places one hand on Grenowitch's shoulder, and he starts rolling that pearl around in his hand and keeping up the pretense of, well, we should start over here. And I believe that I'm not quite sure about how apothecaries organize their goods, but that could use. And as he's doing this, he's rolling the pearl around and just kind of sneaking in to his. He's sneaking into the words he's saying out loud, the words that he needs to cast Identify, which will, if he keeps this up for 10 minutes, casting this ritual of Identify, it should tell him what spells, if any, are currently affecting a creature.
Now, while this conversation is going on with Grenowitch,
yes,
we're going to do the second track of this tape. Cal, Theodora, I am uncertain you are familiar with a term, but there exists a powerful magic, and like most powerful magic, it is very dangerous when people use it with ill intent. Are you familiar with a spell known as a Chaos?
Cal's head snaps as he makes eye contact with Blackstone, and his eyes are really big now, and they're looking at Blackstone and then looking back to Grenowitch, kind of like you for real? You fucking around right now, bestie?
If you don't know what a chaos is, it causes excruciating pain, along with other things, to a person who disobeys whatever the associated orders are. And that does not matter whether it is in thought or in deed. So, it is very dangerous for us to ask Grenowitch a direct question about the condition she is in, because after a certain amount of them, she could die. As you could imagine, the spell does, there's a considerable number on the person upon whom it is cast if they disobey those orders, or even if they, in some cases, if they're dealing with a person who is, for example, good at contracting or otherwise particular phrasings of their instructions, even the slightest of whispers could be their undoing.
And Cal responds. But that spell has limits. That spell has time frames before it becomes ineffective. To make it permanent, someone would have to be extremely powerful.
It isn't necessarily permanent, but I think from what Theodora said earlier, some of these wounds are new, and some of them are not. And someone just walked into town only moments ago to try to cast a spell on my very person, and then hid that trail. It probably isn't uncommon if someone were to do that to me, to do that to other people of interest to them. So be careful. When
Should
you
I
ask
make
a question?
At that
Be
point,
careful.
just because it's been quiet in this office for a couple of minutes, you do see Grenowitch with great difficulty kind of slams her left hand down, moving the pearl away from you. As you see, she's kind of racked with pain for a second, but channels it into quickly getting up. Well, the help would be appreciated. The shop is in quite a state. Not used to having it this bad. Of course, would be happy to get your assistance with cleaning the shop. But I do have one request. Please stay away from the door that is just outside of this main office building. That is my private area. So I would request that you all stay out of it.
Absolutely. I would not dream of violating that boundary in our service.
Theodora goes straight for it.
Do you have any other things that you would like us to pick up while we are out?
Tea would be great.
Tea sounds fantastic.
Any particular blend?
Chamomile would be the best. Otherwise, a peppermint would be good too.
Could I make a just to separate player knowledge from character knowledge? Should I make an Arcana check to see how well Cal knows the details of chaos, other than the fact that it's a mind control spell? Or should we just say that
check, because I mean Cal has a wide variety of knowledge about
even
kind
like
of
spells he can't cast, he knows what they do.
Right. So I'm not going to make you roll for it, because I coming across your readings, you would have definitely come across something like this.
Can I roll to see if I?
Theodora, yes.
I got an 18.
So what are you looking at, Theodora?
How do I stop this?
How do I stop this? I don't know.
Cal
You've heard
says,
about something like this, knocking them out sometimes helps. I don't know, it's not something you really dealt with.
I clench my fist like Arthur. It's a going punch.
You see, as you were kind of debating that, she actually wincing the entire time. It's like someone is riddling her with needles, reaches with her right hand into her bag and actually pulls out several bits of gold, which she does hold in her hand and kind of moves it over towards where you are at, Cal.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, this, is something that I would be happy to and pay you all for picking me up some tea. I really appreciate that.
Of course. Cal picks up the pearl off the floor, because I'm guessing she was making sure
she
he
literally
didn't
knocked it out when
he was making sure, or she was making sure he did not finish that spell.
Yeah.
And then so he picks up the pearl and kind of gently takes the coins of course, an errand would be our pleasure. And he reaches out telepathically to both of you two and says the most Cal thing he could possibly say. I need to get to a library right now.
As you take the gold, Are you quickly moving the gold around in your hands, or are you taking it exactly as she gives it to you?
I'm like, Cal is focused on what he knows about Chaos and what he wants to do.
Sure.
And so he's taking the gold from her, but he's actually counting it because he's trying to see if she's giving him. Frankly, he's trying to see if she's giving him enough gold that he can go get the cure for this.
Sure. So, as you are looking at the palm of your hand, you see in this instance that blood has actually gone through the bandages on her hand. And there's a very familiar marking on the gold and now on your hand. You've seen this symbol before.
The brand from the Minotaurs, yeah.
Yep. You've seen this symbol before.
And then after he says, I need to get to a library right now, and as he sees the symbol on the blood and the gold,
She quickly is looking away and busying herself completely.
Particularly one outside of town, and he looks at Blackstone.
Possibly, but I believe before we do that, we do have another possibly smaller library that's nearby that we should probably have a look at. So I'd suggest that we start there.
Of course. No worries. We'll be back here quick as you please. And Cal will touch Grenowitch. He's gonna quickly try to subtly cast Cure Wounds.
Okay.
On Grenowitch. And that'll be the...
You feel the magic leaving.
And so...
Nothing changes.
What? Okay, good, because I rolled like trash anyways, but still.
Nothing. You can feel the magic. You feel it leaving you, but there's almost like as soon as it makes contact with her, it just does not connect.
I don't see how I would be useful in a library.
So, Deodora, in terms of the library that we're going to visit, we're just going to go and look for some notes on how to perhaps best arrange the things in the shop.
Right. I guess, but I can't help with that. I can't read.
Perhaps
it would be of...
Perhaps you should move quickly, because you see at this point she's just kind of bent over as you all are either sitting here having this conversation internally or you're having it out loud. Either way, she's picking up what you're doing. So
like, hey, Deodora, one thing that might be helpful for the time being is to kind of keep a patrol in the area while we look for something.
Okay.
Right.
And it's okay.
Keep a watch here, and you know what?
Let's walk and talk.
Right.
So while we're walking and talking, I'm going to head straight to, like, do not pass go, do not collect $200, straight to the room that not Deodora, but Grenowitch told us not to go to.
Sure. And you see at this point, she's just trying her hardest to not pay attention to you all.
Right.
Every little bit. But you can still hear she's groaning and grimacing. The door immediately outside, you hear her actually, like, slam her drawer of her desk to try to block out the noise as you're opening up the door, because it is locked. So I'm assuming you're picking the lock?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I have these tools for this.
Go ahead and
what do we do with those?
That. She is.
I feel like I also make my chainmail makes a lot of noise, so that also is like covering up any sounds.
Sure.
Just jangling.
Cal cast mage armor.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so proud of you! Yay!
So wait, how does this work? If I roll like for thieves tools, what do I do there?
So you're gonna roll a basically a dex check, sleight of hand, basically, to see how well you can get this lock picked.
Yeah, you just add your proficiency.
Okay. If it's a if we're dealing with like sleight of hand things,
Yeah.
Then that is a 25.
Okay. It takes you a little bit just because it's an unfamiliar lock. You're still getting used to doing this kind of thing. So it takes you like a hot second, but eventually you hear the click and the lock does come undone. Just as you hear another slam of a drawer, you're able to get the door open.
Okay. Then I go inside as quietly as possible and start looking around.
Okay. You open the...
How tall is the door?
The door is...
I should probably point out here, but just as a note, before I leave the shop, I put my mask back on because we don't need those problems.
Sure. Well, you haven't left the shop. You're still in it. You've left the office area, but yes.
Okay.
Because I'm assuming you're going straight for that door that she said do not do. So, directly outside of her office, you open up that door, and there's actually immediately a set of stairs leading up. Seems like this is leading towards the attic section of the store where her living quarters are at.
Okay.
It's dark in there.
I try to move up as quickly as possible. Or as quietly as possible, I guess it would be the better way to say that. Yeah.
Cal gives like a little wave of his staff, and the sound of a string quartet starts to play to kind of drown out the noises that we're making here as he casts Minor Illusion.
You can hear, because it's directly below you, you can hear her groaning in pain and grimacing and things slamming against the wall onto the ground as this is happening. But you all ascend the stairs. It is pitch black. Who has dark vision?
Oh, dark vision, she says.
Yeah. Yay. Okay. Deodora, you see that this upstairs space is a lot more tidy than it is downstairs. You see it's basically a small apartment up here. There's basic living quarters, there's a small kitchen, and then there's a bedroom just off. But in the darkness, you pick up scratch marks on the floor. You pick up trails of blood. And that symbol that you saw in the Minotaur is kind of in several spots on the ground. Like maybe in a moment she just kind of put her hand down just to get that impression. You see in the back room, because I'm assuming you all are kind of walking and taking this in, is her bedroom, where there is a bed, there's a small dresser, and on the ground next to it, in shattered glass, is a portrait of a much younger Grenowitch, a much younger Deidre. And the portrait has been folded.
Cal will reach
I'll
out
unfold it.
telepathically.
You see,
Cal will reach out telepathically to ask if can anyone see anything in here?
Yeah, as we're walking through,
Sure.
if you connect telepathically, I will like start explaining everything that I'm seeing.
Right. Good.
Just like as we move around, and then I'll pick up the picture and like unfold. I in her mind, she already knows what it's gonna be, but it's like sort of like needed a confirmation just in case it turns out to be something else. But
sure.
so
It
she'll
is
unfold that picture.
indeed a much younger Pithyweather. They
Is
look
there-
to be about 14 or 15 at the time of this portrait.
Is there anything I want to flip it over? Is there anything? Not that I can read, but do I see writing on the back?
You see scribbles.
Okay, so I'll like
So here's
I'll
what-
like hand that over. Hand that
here's
over
what I
to
would
Cal
like to
for
do.
later.
what I'm gonna ask, like what I would like to do with like telepathy, we're just gonna make like a daisy chain of telepathy, and I'm gonna
I love it.
do a thing. I'm gonna say, "Hey, Deodora,
Hmm?
tell like as I just kind of explained to you as you walk around the room, try your best to visualize like what the room looks like to you in your mind, and
Okay.
Cal and I are gonna use that as a way to guide ourselves around the room. So when you
Ooh,
look
yay.
at the picture, things like, okay, if we can see this, like if you can just imagine what the
Yes.
scribbles look like, even if you can't read them, it might be easier to do this because you can just say, it's a shape with like a straight line and a horizontal line, and we
Right.
would know that's an L.
Right.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll like visualize like everything that I'm seeing, like, because I've seen you both send like mental images of things
Right.
to me before, so I'll just like do that in turn, and also like look at the back of this picture and like really concentrate on like the scratches that I see across the back of it, just so like
Is that
and
enough for us
hopefully
to read
visualize.
it?
Why don't you roll, I'll say in this instance, perception, just to see how well you can manifest the scribbling. So, Deodora, just make a perception check for how well you can. You've done map making, you've done that kind of thing, so you know how to do it. It's just you're taking in a lot of information at the same time, and a little bit is outside your wheelhouse.
Yeah. I got dirty 20.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yes, you are able to envision those. Blackstone and Cal, what languages do you speak and read?
Cal could speak and read anything if he cast a fucking spell, finally. But off the top of his head, he's got Draconic, Dwarvish, Elvish, and Common.
I know Common and Primordial. I don't think anybody's writing anything in Thieves' Cant, so that's not a thing.
No. You, Cal, are able to see it's written in Elvish. The three of them have basically put their initials, so D, G, and P, and they've interlocked them into a triangle. And underneath it says, "What once were friends, forever sisters we shall be."
Right. I'm afraid. I'm afraid what we have here, he'll say through the mental link, is a bond to not harm each other, a bond to look after each other's interests that seemed like a good idea at the time, but might be doing Grenowitch some harm. If I can find, there is a spell that will at least alleviate the chaos that's on her. There's a spell that'll remove those restrictions from her, but I need to get to it. I feel relatively confident I could cast it, but I need to get to some copy of it that's been written down. Deodora, does it look like I could?
Can I do an Arcana check on the picture and see if like the message on it is magical?
Yes.
Please continue.
Deodora, does it look like? Do you see any reason why I shouldn't light the room?
Were we not concerned that someone would be watching?
That's why, like, so the windows then, are they not covered?
Are they? They're shuttered.
So safe to
The windows
shine
are
a light.
shuttered.
All right. And Cal will.
Yeah. I guess
Cal
I just
will
want to
touch-
make sure, like, as he's doing this, like, because they have shutters, so I'm imagining maybe there's, like, I just want to make sure, like, any seams, like, if I can, like, maybe cover any seams that might be there to make sure that no light comes out.
This
like,
room is
nobody can see
completely
anything.
pitch black. Like, this has
Okay.
blackout curtains. This is...
Okay.
This is during midday, so
Yeah, you can tell that this is, like, very reminiscent of, like, God, those sick rooms and stuff that you think of just blocking out all light,
Right.
all fresh air. This is more like a cave than it is an actual living space.
Okay. Then I'll say, yeah, you can light the room.
Cal will reach one hand to the top of his walking staff and touch it in Solas, and as soon as he does, the light cantrip will go off and light up the room. Cal will then, with his own eyes, be looking around to see if there are any spell books in this room that might that he might be able to quickly raid to go straight back down and help Grenowitch.
You do see that there are several books strewn about the floor. However, all of them have been opened to a particular page. And on one side of the page, it's burned away. Whatever she was reading was charred away.
Cal will look at the book to see what is the book and what is it written in a language he knows.
It's
Can he
written
put
in
together...
common. It's a book of, basically it's a spell book. It's reading about, you know, different types of spells that are out there. So you could probably gather from this she was looking for that herself, came across it, and then quickly had to remove it.
Got it.
Are there ashes in the room?
The ashes are still there, yes.
Okay, I would like to cast Mending on that page.
Brilliant. That's probably one of the best things of Mending. I was waiting for you to use it because I know you like that spell.
So I see Cal looking at the book, kind of concerned, like, what are we gonna do? And I pick up like both of the books, one in each hand, and you you just hear me say the word reverse, and that's it. But it's in Primordial, and you start seeing like the ashes of the, like, on the ground, like, start floating toward their respective books.
Yes.
And the page colors start to change and words start to form as the books mend themselves.
If I can flavor this a little bit more, Sen.
By all means.
You see the bits of ashes are strewn about the room. Honestly, several of you thought it was dust, but it's ash that's slowly creeping across the floor and starts slowly circulating around Blackstone, almost like a small twister, or leaves spinning in the wind, as it quickly starts to, and you hear the flapping of the paper mending together into this. There are two passages. They're not very large. There are two passages from each of these books. One of them, it's a little hard to read the title because it's slightly worn away, but it's something along the lines of like home remedies and audible oddities is one of the spell books, and it discusses the mending of a promise or the breaking of which. In reading it a bit more, there's notes on the page and you can tell they're Grenowitches. Things that are written in common, so both of you could read it. Saying like, not exactly right, temporary relief. And then at the bottom of the page, society.
I'm afraid I can't be sure, but it's looking like the society that we're worried about might have been itself founded by a private partnership gone awry.
You also see on the opposite side of the page, Blackstone, because you see the note kind of continues. The same marking.
What does the marking look like?
So the marking looks like, and I'll actually put it up on stream so everyone can see. Give me 1 second.
Is it? It's the same one from before? Because I just found it and pinned it in the cast chat because I couldn't remember what it looked like.
It's the exact same one. It's basically this large circle that has almost like these thorns that kind of are going around it. Then a chain that's kind of going through this. It's making a very odd looking X. But it's got a dark black interior and then a light circle around it. This one you can see she has again pressed her palm to it. So at this point it's dried blood. She has added her hand to that. And you can see there is a word next to it that has been scribbled out in blood.
Can we read through it?
Why don't you make another perception check? This is going to have a slightly higher DC just because. Yes.
That's a 9 from Cal.
You said perception?
Yes. Perception or investigation I will allow.
Okay. Well, we're not going to do well with either of those. So the perception was a 13.
Okay.
If it could be investigation for Cal, that makes it a 15.
Okay. Both of you are able to make out a letter, a single letter. O. It's a slightly longer word. But that's about all you get. You don't get the full word, unfortunately. It's just too smeared away. You can see she acted very quickly as soon as she wrote this down, basically with whatever utensil she had in place, which in this instance was her blood. She quickly got rid of it.
Is it when we spend our inspirations, is it adding a D12 or D10?
It's a D12.
Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and use my inspiration to up that investigation check, see if I can get more out of this word. That adds another 8, so that brings Cal's to a 23 on investigation when he's really looking hard at this word.
Sure. You focus in a bit more. And you stare at the symbol a bit. Not necessarily understanding completely. But eventually the word does come to mind as you're kind of ciphering through this. Ouroboros.
Ouroboros.
I, as a player, know what that means.
Right. Ouroboros. Okay, so this should I do like a history check to see if there's a difference between what Finn as a player knows about Ouroboros versus what Ouroboros means in the world of Ampistrano? Or would that be, or could I just go off? I think
that's not the correct question. I think it would be what you're reaching for is, would this be something Cal would know about?
Yeah. What would Cal know?
Why don't you roll a history check?
And I will. It's gonna be a 16.
16.
Doesn't come up.
No.
Can I, for
Cal,
this...
Cal will have said out loud Ouroboros when he figures it out.
Can I roll? Okay, so I know that you just said history.
Yes.
But can I also try a religion check?
Yes, but just know I am raising the DC because now we're having multiple, so it is going to be more difficult. But yes.
Okay, because, so it's history at normal DC or religion at higher DC?
Oh,
you know what? Okay, something. We'll just do the history check then. Because we're not trying to cause more trouble than we're already in. I'm
gonna tell on myself. I'm not doing the dance because I know. I'm doing the dance because when you said you see an O and that's it, in my head I started singing the O'Reilly auto part song, and so now that's in my head.
Still just bopping to O'Reilly
auto part. I love you.
That's a 22 for me on history.
Okay. Yes. So, for you, Blackstone, you are kind of standing there and everything zeroes into a point. You've heard about this before. Are you still doing religion or are you doing history?
History.
History. Yes. You've heard about this before. It's been a long time since you've heard this phrase. And you're not exactly sure where the phrase is coming from. But the moment you hear it, icicle shards almost go through your magical core. This is something old, forgotten, and hasn't been seen for a while. You're not sure, and even with that roll, you don't get much more beyond that feeling. Everything else kind of fades away slightly, and you hear in your head, as you see that vision of the dark elven woman standing before you. You don't want to get into this, Rory. And you actually see the gate, which you know the answers to what you're looking for on the other side of that gate. She's standing in front of it, wearing this kind of bright yellow garb. And just looking at you with concern, but also a fierce determination.
As in, she would stop me if I tried. Yep. Okay.
You
Cal
get the
is-
sense you don't want to mess with her, but that's
While
up to you.
while that's
No,
going on, I'm just gonna throw this in
like,
the background. Cal's
I
flipping through to find
transmit that.
reversers.
I transmit the image of that conversation to the entire party.
This is the first time Blackstone is showing you an elven woman. Looks to be in her mid to late 20s. Wearing a long flowing yellow garb. Looking at, in this instance, this is Blackstone's kind of memory that just happened. Looking worried, determined, in front of these bright kind of golden gates where there's other things on the other side of it.
I explain to everyone in the room as they see this, the Ouroboros are from a very old time. And it seems that for my protection, I am being kept away from what I remember about them.
Blackstone, in that moment, you hear from downstairs a loud crash, and the floor vibrates slightly. You can still hear Grenowitch's getting louder as all of you are lingering.
Okay.
Cal very quickly is rifling through these books to find exactly that particular spell he was looking for. He was
Sure.
looking for remove curse. Does he find it anywhere?
You do find it.
Okay.
After a few minutes, you're able to find it.
While Cal is searching through the books, I hear that crash. I'll go back downstairs.
Okay.
Because I can't help with this anyway.
No, like,
so
I see Deodora leaving, and I just kind of nod as she leaves, and I go, "Well, Cal, this is your moment. We're out of time."
Cal, as soon as he finds the remove curse spell, noticing that it was one of the pages that were previously burned, he like kind of slaps his hands on the floor. Rory, you great big gorgeous mage, you! And he like grabs his head and like kind of does like a forehead touch to each other. This just might have saved her life. And he goes back, grabs the book, and follows Deodora down the stairs.
Deodora, as you head downstairs, the office, which is to your right, you can already tell there's stuff in the hallway immediately as you're coming out. Things have been thrown. There are these long scratch marks that are on the floor.
like somebody was dragged.
No, like something was moving quickly. And as you kind of peek your head, I'm imagining, into the room, you see that Grenowitch, shawl has been thrown. She's hunched in the corner, and her normal stature has changed. There's blood on the floor as you see that there's a large wing now protruding out of the right side of her back. Her hands have become completely grayed, and her nails have sharpened. And you see that the gray, she's turning to you as this is happening, and you see the bits of gray just slowly corroding her skin as the horn on her head sharpens to a point. And you see for a moment a look of fear in her eyes, desperately calling for help without actually being able to say anything. And you see her eyes going red. I need all of you to roll initiative.
Fuck!
Also, Goblin, thank you for those subs coming in right at this moment.
22.
Okay. Alright.
8.
16 for Deodora.
Grenowitch, for the sake of your life, I need you to roll a 1.
We'll see. She tried to hang on as long as she could.
We don't know how long that was.
That was a while.
I know. We were doing our Scooby-Doo bullshit.
Oh no. Okay.
Like, that's a 30 initiative for Grenowitch. She murders all of you, and that's the end of the campaign.
20.
Oh, fuck. God damn it.
So
I mean, so did I, but the bonus on me is not great.
But this is one of those moments where I'm like, can I just trade an inspiration to make her re-roll that?
I mean, I did that last week.
You're welcome to
a couple
to
times.
do it. Yeah, if you're gonna do it now.
You know something? Now is the time. I would like to.
Now
do that
is
then.
the time.
All right. All right. She's still going first, but she didn't get a nat 20.
Yeah, I bet.
Still pretty good.
Even without a nat 20, her bonus is good enough to beat my 22. So
She locks eyes, and you just see all reason leave her, Deodora. You've seen, being from the wilds, you've seen this kind of instance when an animal just shifts. And as this is happening, the transformation has finished, and she just launches herself at you.
Okay.
You see the nails start to extend in your direction as she goes in for a swipe. 22 to hit.
That hits.
Okay. That's going to be... all right, that's 11 piercing damage as you feel the nails kind of basically going into the area where there's a small opening in your armor, pinning right there. She's going to go in again, this time going straight for your face with her other clawed hand.
It's my money maker.
That's going to be a 19 a hit.
That hits.
Okay. That's going to be 4 points of damage as she just swipes down across your face. You feel blood starting to come down your cheek as you kind of grimace away from taking the worst of it, but still taking a hit. That's it for Grenowitch. Cal, you're up. Deodora, you're on deck.
Okay.
all right, DM. I've got the spell in a book in front of me, but it's not my spell book. Am I able to cast from it?
You can certainly try.
Okay. Cal, seeing everything that she just did to Deodora, will he'll yell out to Blackstone, Rory, I'm gonna need you to create some distance if this doesn't work, and he will make the correct motions with his hands. He kind of swirls his hands together in a big circle, says Aeon, and then puts both of his hands on Grenowitch, like I'm guessing he's kind of like ducking under that claw that just flew at
she's
Deodora.
basically pinning Deodora to the side, so you're kind of coming in. You're in the doorway.
So he kind of ducks under one side, and you could tell me how much movement that cost me to do, but he kind of ducks under one side and tries to get like under one of the arms, just presses both hands to her side to cast Remove Curse on her.
You feel the spell take, and for a moment, Deodora, you would see this because she's still locked eyes with you. The red clears away, and you see the blue irises of Grenowitch. The only thing familiar about her appearance right now. You need to go. Ugh! As the curse fully takes over again, the spell does not work.
No. Okay. All right.
This is me speaking out of character. Could you perhaps go through the book and try to find a different spell to cast?
I could, but it'd take a moment. And as he says that, and DM will tell me the consequences of this action. He'll take his hands off of Grenowitch, grab up the book, and as he tries to get away... how tall's the room? How much space is in this room?
I mean, you're in the door frame right now. There's not a lot of room.
In the room that he would like get into if he pushed past.
Oh, it's basically the size of your suite. So it's a bigger, larger room. You would have room to move.
Specifically the ceiling.
Oh, the ceiling is about like 5-6 feet above you. It's a larger room because there's things hanging from it. So
enough to get out of melee range for
sure.
Instance. All right. He grabs up the book, tries to like duck to the side and get past into the room.
Okay.
And as he does,
she is going to take an opportunity attack.
I fully intended her to do that, but a pair of glowing spectral wings will come out of Cal's back as he tries to fly out of reach and escape some of this. Okay, tell me how bad I just got hit 20. Though. Ouch. So he's gonna take some harm.
That's gonna be 24 points of slicing damage.
Okay. He takes it then.
As she just swipes at you.
Oh, but thank God for that mage armor.
That mage armor only upped my AC, and so she still totally she completely smashed that AC. No, she smashed that AC pretty bad.
Unfortunately, it did.
Unfortunately, she smashed that AC. So Cal definitely takes a hard as fuck hit because that's more than half of his HP, and then we'll use all of his. Well, he doesn't stumble. He tries to float out of range with those wings that he just produced.
Sure.
So he'll get the full 30 feet away from her, and that's his turn.
All right, Deodora, you are up. Blackstone, you're on deck.
Okay, I'm just going to attack her with my greatsword.
Okay.
And I'll use Great Weapon Master too.
Do it.
That's a dirty 20 to hit.
That just hits.
Okay, great. So that's my greatsword is 2d6. 7 plus 4, 11 plus, so that's 21 damage to her. And then as my bonus action, I will shift.
Do it.
So, yeah.
What does it look like when you're hitting her for that damage?
She's like has me pinned with the one hand and is like reaching out to Cal with the other.
Yes.
I sort of like grab my sword and like swing it around to like hit her like in the side. Mm-hmm. Probably trying to like favor like the side that's already kind of that she's been favoring to sort of like, you know, she's already weakened there, so I might as well hit her there.
Sure.
And then I'll shift so I get a +1 to my armor, and then I'll get some temp HP, which I'll roll while it's Blackstone's turn.
Okay, Blackstone, you are up. I'm imagining at this point you were still kind of hearing the commotion, you're coming running, so that will take most of your movement, but you're able to see what's going on pretty quickly.
Okay, so how long would it take for me? Like, how much movement would it take for me to be within striking range of this person? Because
It's
if
going
I
to
don't
take your
distract
full
them,
movement from where you were upstairs to get across and then down the stairs to where Deodora and Grenowitch, I say loosely, are in that door frame. It's going to take your full movement to do so.
okay, that's fine. I'm going to use it because at this point, if I don't do that, Cal's gonna die. So, okay. I am going to use the Booming Blade spell
Do it.
once I'm in range, and that is a 23 to hit with a dagger.
That hits.
Okay.
What about some sneak attack? Can we get a little sneak attack since she's engaged with someone?
No, I mean,
Sneak
that's
attack
got
would be a
to,
thing.
yeah, like we already know that that's there.
Yeah, I
so
already knew
that's
that was
not-
coming.
All right. Making
I already
sure
knew
we
that
all knew
was
what was
coming.
up.
But we get that, and we get an additional D8 of damage too. So that's neat. Okay, so that's a D4. This is a D8. Oh my god. How that roll went. I can't believe this nonsense. That sneak attack wasn't worth anything. All right, so grand total is 15 points of damage, with 7 of it being thunder damage.
Love that.
And then Booming Blade is if she moves, she gets in more damage, right?
Yeah, that is correct.
But
If
is it voluntarily moves?
Yes,
moves in general?
Yeah, she
if
has
she
to move.
chooses to move, she's gonna
Okay.
get some thunder damage happening to her.
All right. Good job. Anything else you wish to do, Blackstone?
I do not believe I have bonus actions that would be helpful here. So wait, hold on.
You can
Yeah.
disengage or
bonus
dodge.
action. Okay, I guess bonus action. Well, I mean, I can't move, so I don't know what disengage would do. Can I bonus action dodge?
Sure. Well
Okay.
timed, because as you kind of sneak in with this, she is going to face your direction. Cal, how far away did you move?
I got 30 feet of movement, so as much as I can get.
Perfect. You're still in her line of fire.
Awesome.
So, you see, she kind of stands in the door frame, still facing off between the three of you, separating her from her office. And she opens up her mouth, and you get the scent of it first, Deodora. A deep acidic smell hits your nose as a spew of acid comes shooting in your direction. I need
Is
everyone
this
to
a
make dex saves.
Is this a spell effect?
It's a somewhat complicated question just because she's not casting anything. This is unique
it's a
to her
innate
right now in her
ability.
altered form.
So a counter spell is what I'm saying.
You
would
could
Cal
try.
Well, I mean, it kind of like
I don't.
Wait,
I wouldn't
Cal,
waste the
I
spell
would-
slot.
as I'm just gonna put on my player hat for a second. It would be like trying to counter your breath weapon. I don't
Yeah,
think people
yeah,
can do that.
it's
Yeah,
like-
that's
it's like a
that's what
breath
that's what
weapon.
I'm gathering. Okay, well,
Question: since I smelled it before it came out, can I get advantage? And can I like warn everybody like
Yes, you
before
can.
it hits
You
so
can give
everybody
everyone
can
a
get
heads up.
advantage?
Yes.
and you said that was a dex save,
Yep,
right?
you will need to make a dex save.
Okay, great. 19.
Okay.
22.
Okay.
Fucking 7.
Even with advantage?
Oh yeah, we all
You
have advantage.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, then woohoo! 19. Much better.
Okay. So, I'm sorry. 19 for Cal. Deodora, what'd you get?
19.
19. Blackstone.
22.
22. Okay. Blackstone, you only take half damage. As
Fuck me.
Wait, what kind of DC is this?
it's not great. So let's.
Cal is going to cast Absorb Elements, though.
Okay.
which
easily do
does
that.
it does work on acid. So
Yes, it does.
I also cast absorb. I don't have that.
Wait, are
I'm
all of
just
us
gonna
about
take this coffee.
are all well, let me see. It's half damage. How much is the half?
Hang on.
Not good based on that face.
it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, I want
She
half
says she
of
gotta
that.
get it. She says she gotta
I'm
get a
not good with
calculator
math.
out.
Leave me
It's not
alone.
good.
Okay.
It ain't good.
So Cal, you take 16 points of damage.
What? No.
I'm
Wait,
sorry,
even-
not Cal. Sin, Blackstone, you take 16 points of damage.
Oh no.
Cal and Deodora, you take 33.
Cal also
wait.
takes 16 because he did absorb elements.
Oh, that's
I
right.
did
you
the
take
absorb
16.
element to half it.
Yes.
The problem with that is
Fall right out of the
Are
sky.
you down?
Down?
Cal has 16 points of HP right now, and so that absorb elements will keep him from dying outright, I guess.
Yeah, you absorb, and then you just see Cal hit the deck.
Oh my god. As he falls, can he just spray back that acid? Just fuck you, because that's what absorbed elements does.
I mean, I've got to go make a weapon attack against her to dish out the damage back, but
Yeah.
You know something? I'll just throw an absorb elements in here because, well, actually, absorb element.
you could half the damage again.
Yeah, you
if
could
do
half it
absorb
again.
elements.
No, I'm trying to. Okay, so I have like 2 reactions I could use here that do the same thing. I guess I'll absorb elements here.
Sure.
No, I won't. I am going to use uncanny dodge.
Yeah, I was
Do
gonna say you
that.
dodged originally, so
Uncanny dodge would make you take no damage, wouldn't it?
yeah,
Because if
it would basically take it down to 0.
Wait, why?
because if you use
Because
uncanny dodge,
if you
yeah.
succeed on a dex save, you take no damage,
Yep.
and if you fail, you still take half damage with uncanny
Yep.
dodge. I'm
So
pretty
you
sure.
you can uncanny dodge. You took no damage, but you did
Ooh.
just hear Cal behind you
Cal dropped.
drop, and is now laying in a small puddle of acid as that's happening. But that's it for Grenowitch. Cal, I need a
Saving
death
time.
savings throw, please.
Just
Wow.
Wow.
hey Cal, do you have potions on your person?
Currently, no.
There's potions in the shop.
Mm-hmm.
There's
There are
potions
potions in the room, but I don't have any on me.
The struggle.
Got an 8.
That's one failed save. All right, Theodora.
Okay. How far away are the potions?
The potions are about 10 feet away from you. They're like, since she's kind of put you out of the door frame, if you were to turn to the right and walk 10 feet, they're right there. They're right on this small kind of, they amazingly escaped the acid burst that is now slowly corroding a large portion of her shop. But they are in a small kind of wooden bin. Think of like Pottery Barn with their like candles.
Okay.
Right there.
And then remind me, it's an action to feed it to somebody else?
Yes,
Or
action to
bonus
feed it to
action?
yourself, bonus action to feed it to yourself.
Okay. Let me know if you allow me to do this. I get 2 attacks per action. Could I use one attack to attack her and then blink over to the potion and then give it to Cal?
I'll say this. I'll allow you to attack her. I'll allow you to blink over to grab it and begin making your way over to Cal. I don't think you'll be able to because that's a lot of things to do in 6 seconds.
Right, okay.
So if that's okay, I'll allow you to get to Cal. You just will have to wait till your next turn to be able to feed it.
Okay. Then yeah, that's what I'll... So then in that case, getting the potion then, if this case, would it just be an object interaction to get it?
Correct.
So then I can attack her twice instead?
Yes.
And then make my way over to Cal. Okay, I'll just do that.
Yeah.
Oops. I think I forgot to attack her twice last time. I got so excited about hitting her. That's okay.
This poor old lady's been through so much shit.
That's a 24 to hit.
That hits.
Okay, and then the other one didn't hit.
Okay.
6 plus. Yeah, that's 10 damage.
Okay.
And then I'll yeah. What I'll do is, how far away is Cal? Is like right there, like right near her, or where is he?
Cal's 30 feet back.
30 feet back?
Yep.
Okay. I'll take an opportunity attack, and I'll go for the potion.
Okay.
And then I'll blink over to him from the potion.
Okay. 17, I believe, misses you.
That misses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Riposte.
Nice. Do it.
That's a 22 to hit.
That hits.
Like, I feel like the image of it is her
13.
swipe, as like Grenowitch swiping at where Deodora was, missing her because she blinked, and Deodora like popping back to go, "Excuse me," and bopping her before continuing on her way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nuck if you butt place in the background.
Yes. I am here for this. Let's go.
All right. And so yeah, I'll grab the potion, then blink over to Cal
Okay.
to feed it to him next turn.
Yep. And you're at the ready. All right. Blackstone, you are up. Then it's Grenowitch. Then Cal, you're on deck.
I am very sad at having to do things. Has Grenowitch moved?
Grenowitch has not moved.
Okay. So, and that spell does last until she does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then what we're going to do is roll this attack. It might miss, but we're going to see if it does. Does a 15 hit this creature?
Nope. She's able to
No,
just swipe away whatever you're doing with not even lifting her hands. Her wing kind of deflects it away quickly.
Okay. I am going to take the okay, so we didn't attack, we need to do movement. I am going to bonus action disengage with a cunning action.
Okay.
And then I am going to like move about 20 feet away, but kind of like at an angle to where Deodora and Cal are. So like if
Got
they're
it.
over here, I'm running in this other, like in a parallel direction.
Got it. Okay. Let's see. What is she going to do? All right. You are able to do that. She is going to go ahead and move. So she will take that damage. Do you want to roll for that for me,
Yep.
Sin?
Okay, hold on. Okay, so y'all hear like a small peal of thunder. She takes another 5 thunder damage.
All right. I love that imagery of the thunder kind of impacting as you see her, Blackstone, kind of like crouching down, and she just lunges forward just as Deodora is meeting Cal. She is going to try and aim for Deodora for a hit, seeing that she's trying to get Cal up. But misses as that happens, because I like to think the thunder just pushes her slightly off the train for the first attack. She is going to try again.
This is the next round, right?
Yeah.
I'll riposte again.
Okay. Do it with
That's
advantage
24 to hit.
because her second
advantage?
attack was a nat 1. So she's
Nat
struggling.
20.
Get it, girl, get it.
Okay, so it's full damage and then roll, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna just let me calculator. Where's my
Yep.
calculator? So with just the dice, with just the full, it's 20, and then I'm gonna roll now.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, 20. It's 24, the first one, because I forgot my. I'll add my modifier to that one.
Okay.
And then that's 8 more damage.
Okay. All right, she is starting to look bloodied. She has taken a lot of damage, but I imagine you're kind of just swinging up as she's coming in. Not sure if she's aiming exactly for you or for Cal, just because the both of you are right there in that moment.
I'm like the way I'm positioned, I'm like over Cal, so like if she does swing, when she does swing down, like she has no choice but to hit me and not Cal.
I like that.
So.
I like that for flavor. I think that's really cool. So yeah, she is done with her. Cal, go ahead and make a death savings throw.
Okay, be good to me. Be good to me, please. 19. Okay, that was a success.
Yes. All right. Deodora, you are up.
Okay. I popped that bottle
There
in
you
Cal's
go.
mouth. What kind of potion is it?
It's a 4d4. So.
Ooh, I never take my d4s out.
4d4 plus 4.
Hold on. Carry on while I.
All good.
Okay, 4d4. Okay. 4, 5.
Blackstone, you are up.
13 HP.
All right, you get
Got
13 points back, Cal, as your eyes start to flutter. Awake, Blackstone.
I am probably not able to do this in the middle of the shop, so like breaking out a short bow would probably be unhelpful. We're going to. What potions are there in the shop?
There's a variety of potions. You see the ones most kind of advertises the health potions. There's a couple of like purple ones that are used to kind of ward off, evil. There's not anything like potion of fireball or something like that, if that's what you're looking for.
No. What I'm looking for are potions that do strange things. Like, for example, potions that shrink people.
Interesting. Go ahead and roll an investigation check for me, please.
Okay.
That thought crossed my mind as well, so.
I'm gonna second wind as a bonus action.
I hate this for me. So my passive investigation is an 18, but that roll was absolutely not. That roll was a 7.
Okay. There's a lot happening. You've been focused on a lot of things. You think you maybe saw a sign towards the front of the shop, so a little bit further back. Something starting with the letter T, but you're not really sure.
Okay, then this is one of those. I'm just gonna have to go and attack them because we don't have time to read. So we're going to cross the distance to where Deodora and Cal are because I'm trying to be a distraction, and we are going to try to do another one of these booming blades.
Sure.
That is a 23 to hit with the booming blade.
That hits.
Okay. So dice and more dice and more dice.
Shot.
I mean, that's basically what's happening over here.
Yeah. Kinda it.
Okay.
Everybody! Da 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 da. Tell us how you want to do this. Da, da,
That is 22 damage, and with 4 points of it being thunder damage.
Okay. All right. She takes
Wait,
damage.
Does she take the thunder damage yet?
No, she takes because we're level
some
5,
thunder-
she takes some thunder damage now and some
right.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got that. You got it. Yeah.
She's got to move, but yes.
You got that thing.
Yeep. All right.
That thing.
I kind of tell when I get there, I do tell everybody else after that attack, you want to move as soon as possible.
And you do hear this unearthly noise coming from her of, I'm not going to actually do it because I don't want to hurt everyone's ears, of just high-pitched animalistic scream. And she will take the damage. She's going to lunge towards you, Blackstone. So if you want to go ahead and roll.
Okay, what am I rolling for?
That extra thunder damage.
The booming blade because she's moving. Is she leaving my range, or is
she's still within range?
Melee? Okay.
Yeah.
6 more thunder damage.
Okay. All right. Got it. You see her raise her hand up again. In spite of her transformation, the mark is still burning brightly on her hand. And you see her nails sharpen and then shoot in your direction. That is going to be a 24 to hit on the first.
Okay. That one hits. Let's roll the second one.
Okay. The second one is a 21.
Yep, it's 21 also hits. So,
Okay. Well, the first one is a single point of damage.
okay.
So she's not fully focused on you completely, as she's still kind of, her attention in that animalistic fight or flight kind of moment is having trouble completely focusing in on a target. So she's just able to kind of just get a nicking of the side of your where your mask and your hoodie is. There's just a little bit of skin, and she's just able to kind of mark that as you're moving away. The second one is going to be 11 points of piercing damage.
Okay. I want to. I'm still going to take the damage, but two things. I want to uncanny dodge as a reaction. Two, I want to catch her hand.
Okay.
If I can.
I'll allow that for a reaction. Why don't you do a dex check to see if you can grab that? Like how quickly you're moving.
check.
A dex check, is that just like general dex?
Yeah. I hope you
so
switched
that's
into
gonna
the brain already.
Whoops, that's definitely a 7.
7?
So might not be able to, but that's fine. Like, I'm not trying to grapple her. This is more
No,
of a
you just want to
dramatic
grab
thing
her hand.
for a second, just to say, I made a promise, Grenowitch, and I know you're in there. We're going to help you.
Okay.
And that's it.
Sure. I'd like to think, to branch off of the wonderful thing that you've done when it comes to telepathy. In that moment, you and her are in that waiting room. And you see in front of you Grenowitch phasing in between herself and this creature, but behind her burns brightly the marking. And you see this green kind of smoke trail around her, whispering from her left to right ear phrases. The actual subject matter of these phrases in that moment does not matter. But you get malice. You get hatred. Whatever this thing is doing, it is feeding off of this emotion. And using that in this moment to push forward. But you can see she is so locked within that. She is so bound by it. It's almost like ropes kind of holding her in place. And for a moment you see she does look up at you as you're saying this. And you can see the look of horror, the look of panic, but also the pain and anger that she has been feeling. As you feel her push you out of her mind as quickly as she can. We'll say that happened over that course of that moment.
I mean, it's telepathy, so that's takes like an instant at the most.
Quick thing. Love that. Okay. That was your Grenowitch attack.
That was
Cal, you are up. You are waking up.
Right. I can imagine, like, since in the time since Deodora woke him up, Cal has like gone from flat on his back on the floor. He kind of has propped himself up on his elbows. Still kind of, he's on his ass still, but he's kind of propped himself up on his elbows. His staff should still be glowing from being the light spell, because it's there for an hour. And so he reaches across on the floor, grabs his staff, and he holds his hand up in front of it, holding his hand between his staff and Grenowitch, and he yells out, Spriach, and his hand becomes transparent. The light hits his hand and fractals through it and amplifies and blasts Grenowitch in the face with this overwhelming light.
Okay.
And
does she have to roll something?
She will not have to roll a
Okay.
thing. He is going to cast this at 2nd level, which means he can roll an additional 2d10 for each slot above first, because I'm not fucking around and taking any chances on this. 1st level, I get to roll 6d10, so I'm going to do this digitally. I don't have these dice just lying around for this.
Okay.
So I know that this is overkill.
Sure.
Because I'm trying to match her HP.
Question. Because
Just in case I roll like trash.
I think this is important because we've already established she's bloodied. Are you doing this with the intent to kill, or are you doing with this the intent to knock out?
This is a spell that will disable. This spell does not do damage.
Disarm. Got it.
Yes, this will disarm. Yeah, this will disarm. Sorry.
No, it's all good.
So I'm gonna roll 12 d10. Is that what I just said? Because it's 8.
I think you said.
I thought it was
you said 6d10.
6 at base level, and I'm upcasting it, so I get 2 more
Gotcha.
d10 on the roll.
Okay, so
I'm gonna do this on the D&D Beyond roller, since that's just gonna be easier for the moment.
Oh my god.
So 39. Is that over her HP currently?
she had exactly 38 points left.
Woo!
So
So how does this look?
Her vision is obscured. It is darkened. She cannot see right now.
Okay.
So that means for all of us, she's gonna instantly fail any checks that require or any saving throws that require her see the incoming attack or whatever. And
is she not down?
No, it does not do any damage.
No, it just
okay.
prevents.
It gives the obscured vision condition. This is a condition spell.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it obscures her vision. Every attack on her will have advantage. All of her attacks will have disadvantage, and she insta fails any saving throw that requires her to see the incoming attack or spell.
Sounds good.
So she has her vision completely obscured right now. That is Cal's action. And that is all he actually, if he tried to get away from her right now, would that, since her vision is obscured, would she be able to make her opportunity attacks?
She can certainly try because she can still hear and smell. So
Cal's gonna do it with disadvantage.
Yeah, I think Cal might actually, if he knows Deodora's standing over him, he might actually feel safer staying with Deodora than skittering away at the moment. So that's what Cal's gonna do. He casts the light burst spell, and that's it. And he hopes that is enough to help out.
All right, Deodora, you are up as this large light spell is slowly starting to dull in the room. You can see from Grenowitch or this creature's face, they're not exactly seeing anything. What I would like to envision, if you'll allow me, Finn, with that spell, what I actually imagine, it almost looks like a veil has kind of landed on Grenowitch's face, slightly obscuring her vision as bits of starlight and sun is kind of just blocking that image. Almost like a overlarge hat is kind of covering that. She's looking around but not making sense of what's around her. But you can hear and see her kind of sniffing and trying to sense where all of you are in that moment. But Deodora, you are up.
Okay. I have a question, or maybe two.
Sure.
We all see that her hand is glowing, right?
Yes.
With the symbol?
Yes.
Do I get the sense that the source of the curse is this brand on her hand?
It is the cause of it. However, going beyond that, such as I imagine you're thinking about chopping it off.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, this is exactly. You're not sure if that will cease it or not.
Okay. I'll just take a gamble, and I'm
Sure.
going to attack her, and I'm going to try to chop the afflicted hand off.
Go for it.
And I get advantage. 11 plus. I don't. Does an 18 hit? I can't remember.
18 does not, but you have a.
Okay.
You'll
I
have
did roll it with
advantage,
advantage.
yeah.
I'm going to use a superiority die to use a precision attack, so I
Go
hit.
for it.
So that's another 6, so that's 24
That
to
hits.
hit on the first attack.
All right.
I'll just roll my second attack now. 23 to or 22 to hit.
Both hit.
Okay, great. And then that's 12, 15, 20. That's 24 damage.
Okay.
And I'm specifically aiming to chop that hand off,
Got it.
if I can.
Are you cutting at the elbow or are you cutting at the wrist?
I guess I was thinking at the wrist,
Okay.
because it seems like the symbol's just on her hand, right?
Mm-hmm. From what
And
you
I
can
know,
tell, yeah.
well, I know we said that, like, those veins were, like, crawling up, but you
Yeah.
said it was, like, in her neck, so I don't, like, I think she would think the source is just the hand.
Got it. Okay.
So she would chop at the wrist.
Okay. Your sword cuts through quickly, and all of you hear a noise as there's a thud on the ground, and you hear this as she kind of reels from the pain. Nothing changes.
No? Well, I tried.
You did take a huge chunk out of her remaining hit points, since it was established how many she has left. So, Blackstone, you are up.
Okay, so I'm torn between two courses of action here. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. That is a 19 to hit with a booming blade.
Misses. Just misses.
Oh wait, I get advantage on those. What am I doing?
You do.
The advantage did not matter.
Oh no.
This is fine. What do I want to do here? I don't think I want to necessarily do anything. I'm just going to stay posted here because I'm going to trust Cal to do the thing that Cal can do.
Okay. All right. Grenowitch, or this being, reeling in pain, not able to decipher necessarily exact locations, is just going to kind of swing to see if she can hit. I'm going to roll a d4 to see who she's aiming for, or who she thinks she's aiming for.
I hope it's me.
It is you, actually, Blackstone.
A blessing.
And it's at disadvantage because she can't see anything. She swings out at you, misses, and instead her remaining hand hits the wall behind you. She is going to try again. Both miss. She's
Okay.
swinging.
I would like to try to catch the second swipe.
Sure.
I heard that my friend Cal knows a lot of random magical things, and maybe one of them will be able to help fix this. At least that's what I'm hoping. And then I suppose we can address whatever this is later.
She kind of looks up at you. Blood kind of slowly dripping out of her mouth. You need to go. This won't end as easily as you think it will. Go.
I made a promise, Grenowitch. I can't leave any more than you can.
Promises suck, don't they?
Sometimes.
She kind of gives you a light nod as we shift back. Cal, you are up.
All right. Cal sees that Grenowitch is in such a bad way. Nothing that he can think to do is going to help her in any way, shape, or form. He is going to do the biggest upcast of Magic Missile.
Okay.
So he is going to cast it at 3rd level, which is high as he can go.
Okay.
And so it's going to be 5 darts.
Okay.
So it's going to be 5d4 plus 5.
Okay.
8, 10, 11. Roll one more d4. So that's going to be 15 plus 5. He does 20.
20 points total.
Yes, of force damage. He's hoping to not kill her, but he does want to knock her right out.
You do see, I was just calculating real quick. Math is hard, y'all. You see her take the darts. The veil of sunshine and radiance dispersing as she falls to the ground unconscious, bleeding out.
Does that drop us out of initiative?
It drops you out of initiative.
Do we see the
Her form
The
does not
cursor-
change.
the form doesn't change? All right.
And
I could heal her,
as
but
we end initiative, and the party is starting to decide what they're going to do next. We're going to pan out the camera because we are running a little long, and I know we have some people have to run. We're going to pan out the camera for a moment. Outside of Grenowitch's shop, to an aerial view of Illipin. And those dulled sparks of purple magic in the sky. Light again for a moment. The trail reignited, leading to Lyros. The camera zooms through the hallways, through the courtyards, past the library, past Pithyweather's office, into a darkened chamber beneath the school, where there is a large crystal suspended from the ceiling as Pithyweather is walking around this large table where a bloodied halfling is laying on the table.
Oh, I'm gonna kill this bitch. I'm killing her. I'm taking her fucking
Court.
head right off.
Hang on.
Nah,
Court.
bitch.
Hang on.
Not who you think it is, y'all.
She trails around the table. The halfling moves around as consciousness finds him again. Trying to reach your friends, I see. I don't think they're coming. But if they do, we'll be ready. And that's where we're going to end our session for today.
I'm gonna go full Vlad the Impaler on this bitch. I'm telling you right now. That's why I got this great sword, okay?
Sorry, y'all. Things are happening.
Court.
I'm not going to
Jail.
TV court. Stop it. Name of the
Suing.
game.
There is just like
Electric
like-
chair.
No.
Like there are
Anyway.
like at least three. There are like 3 instances I would like to bring up as part of like this court up here. At this point.
Anyways, we are gonna be heading out of here. Reminder: we are off next week for our break, and the following week, for our Games for Change weekend. We will be back here with the full cast. Robo will be back. April will be back on November 12th for part 1 of our season finale. Don't worry, we will be back. More information is coming out. So you're not going to want to miss it because there's a lot happening. So yeah.
Yeah, a Dragonborn's getting murdered, and it's not Cal for once.
For once, it's not Cal. But we are
For
going to
once,
head out
yeah.
of here, y'all. So stay tuned while we play our ending video, and we go raid. Liz Bear is playing Among Us, and I think that's, a perfect segue from the shenanigans that were happening in today's episode. So we're going to get out of here. Thank you all so much. Make sure you take a break, take a rest. You're working incredibly hard. We appreciate you immensely, and see you in a couple of weeks. Bye, everybody.
Love you.